ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
In a world evolving at the speed of light, where our daily lives are being reshaped by digital technologies, some individuals don't just keep up with the future, they create it. Our guest today is one of those pioneers, a leader in the field of digital technology and innovation. He is Mr. Mostafa Fathy Ashanawani, the co-founder and CEO of Diverge Global Holding. Today's conversation, it's not just about technology, it's about the mindset behind it, the human story behind the screen, the one who sees every challenge as a chance. So stay tuned to know more details about his successful story.
إلا محب زايد أسسها واليوث وراها داروا على الدانات 7 أبد.
I can go on and on about this. Maybe people would think that I would be faking it or not being truthful, but I was born here, raised here. I've seen childhood memories here, but I'm actually more appreciating even more now. I mean, I'm working on it. I feel like I'm definitely somewhere where I'm proud of myself, and I think also people around me.
Welcome everyone to your favorite program, Peers of Union. Our inspiring guests have moved from the darkness of challenges to the light of success. Our inspiring guests have set a title for success and ambition. And our special guest for today is Mr. Mostafa Fathy Ashanawani, and he is the co-founder and the CEO of Diverge Global Holding. Welcome, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm so pleased to meet you today.
Appreciate it.
So today it's an opportunity to talk about your successful journey as well as about this successful company.
Yes.
Yeah. So please, in the beginning, can you tell us about yourself, about your background, and also about the key milestones in your professional journey?
I'm going to start from where I think what makes me who I am today. It's actually, so my name is Mostafa Fathy. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Diverge. But what does Diverge mean? It was actually going out of the path from the common and the always known to something that is uncommon and usually taking risks. And that starts from where I was younger and how I am an artist. So I paint, and as an architect, you always take risks and do the craziest decisions to come up with something either creative or something that's abnormal that turns out to be very special. So with that being said, me being a painter and artist and an architect eventually when I graduated as an engineer, while I was in architecture school, I studied in Cyprus. In my 3rd year, I turned out to be one of the top students, even though in high school I wasn't really anywhere close to being the top student. I was always a D student, maybe a C student. But I always thought that maybe I wasn't good enough. Grades really mattered. It meant that I'm not good enough. But when I went to university, the only decision I could find is to become something to do with art and architecture engineering. As per my dad's background, he was a consultant engineer for 40 years, and he said, be an engineer, but then you can do whatever you want later. but if you're going to do business, if you're going to do anything else in life, might as well be an engineer. So I was like, okay, let me be an architect. And as I was doing architecture, I turned out to be a pretty good architect, and I really enjoyed being an engineer. And with that being said, I started becoming a student teacher. So it was a research assistant, but it was the first time in the university for me to teach students. As I was in my third year, I started teaching first and second year. And that my passion to community and building engagement with younger individuals, even though they were relatively closer to my age. Yeah. Because at that time I was like 21 and I'm teaching students that are 18, so we're not really different. So when I did that, I realized that there are so many people that did not believe in themselves, and they needed someone to believe in them. And that's what I really needed for myself. So I started doing that with a lot of younger students. And eventually I got recommended by the university to work on a project for the United Nations. And I got the Archiprix competition nomination, and then I won that in Istanbul. And my project was the United Nations project that made me realize that I'm actually not only an architect, I also understand people, and I want to build community, and that's my passion. And just to keep it even shorter, after that, community was my focus. And with community, it also means ecosystem. So as a designer, I built a brand for graphic design and website building and creative studies, painting, poetry. And that was a very small community that I built in Cyprus. And then it grew into something that was really powerful. But still, I found that it wasn't professional enough. Because I was younger, I was 21 years old.
So great, actually. You have a faithful journey and rich experiences.
And that's only the beginning. And eventually from that, today, I'm not really anywhere close to that 21, 22-year-old, but I'm 20 years old today, 28 years old. So that was 7 years ago. And I'm today running a tech AI company and a Diverge design house. It's an architectural design studio. Diverge Media Hub, which is a marketing production hub, and Diverge Finance, DVG Finance. These are all divisions part of Diverge Global, and that's something we can talk about later. But I think the community aspect is what makes me who I am today.
So as a young entrepreneur, what were the main challenges that you have faced while building and growing this company?
I'm always the youngest person in the room. I've always been the youngest person in the room, and that created a challenge because the person that I was trying to deal with in business was 40 plus, 50 plus, and they would never take me serious. But then I eventually found, I would call it my trick shot. This trick shot means I would show them something that they have expected from someone that is really well connected, from someone that is as young as me. With that being said, I started using my university professors as my partners in my business. And all I said was, hey, professor, you believe in me and you know that I'm one of the best. And I want to do this journey. And it was an architecture project proposal. How can I propose an architecture project if I still just started like a month ago because I just graduated, right? But it was the professor in uni that put their name and trust in me. And with that being said, I realized that contacts make contracts. And all my professors were eventually part of my early company in Cyprus.
So they are your mentors also?
Yes, and that's exactly when I realized a mentor is someone that you actually trust in their words and could be also an advisor, and then you can consult them on multiple different things, not only business, could be also personal. And I do have mentors in my life that I hold dearly to my heart till today. I check up on them even though they can't believe who I am today, because they're like, you are that crazy guy who was always painting on the walls that turned out to become someone who now designs building or works on AI avatars for governments. It feels like it's all over the place. And my mentors, who was actually one of very famous Bulgarian artists, he told me that multidisciplinary individuals are the future. And he was 60 years old and I was 22. I didn't even know what that meant. But multidisciplinary is a word that I now use when we hire in our company, something that I believe I was. Parents usually used to say, focus on one thing. Don't do too many things and don't go too distracted. But I do sports and I ride horses and I paint and I try to study math and engineering. But what is software? I want to learn coding. It's this curiosity is actually multidisciplinary, but it needs to be put and at least directed the right way with the right mentors. So mentorship was a really important thing for me to realize early on, and I think that's what helped me find myself early.
And who else who have supported you and encouraged you along the way to overcome these challenges?
When I realized that mentorship is actually important for someone to have in their life, especially early on, and people don't really realize that your parents might be in mentorship. You know, you are in a mentorship program with your parents unwillingly, but also you're under surveillance, I would say, or protection of or oversight by professors in school or university, or maybe it could be your senior manager eventually when you are in some job or career. All these individuals are actually not just mentors, but if you find what you see in them that you would want to be in the future, you have to put it out there and talk about it, because younger, I mean, I would really focus on younger individuals, because I consider myself as younger generation, even though whenever anyone asks me how old are you, I say I'm 38, even though I'm 28. I always add up 10 years because that's relatively my experience with all the multidisciplinary actions that I do, and that's also because of the help of my mentors. And I would say maybe my dad, he always used to say this. I never understood what it was. It never really meant anything, and now I would put it on my forehead if I could. He only said, be yourself and do your best. It's a very common saying, and it's a stereotypical thing to say, but if you actually truly find who you are, to be yourself and then do your best regardless, even if you don't want to succeed, you're going to end up becoming better individual. And that's self-development, which is something I really focus on, talking to not only individuals that are my age or younger, but actually, I mean, I don't know how to say this, but I'm actually being consulting now individuals that are in major senior positions in really big companies, Fortune 500 companies, and in the region and also international. They will come to me for advice, and I would say, I don't feel like I'm in a position to give you advice, not only because of my age, but I can tell you my really diversified experience. This is what I realized, and they would say that this has changed their life, and this, I think, would be one of my purpose in life.
But they learn from you, actually, from your experiences.
But I didn't realize that I had an experience, right? And this was recent. I would say recent to last year, but for the past year now, I would say 18 months now, I truly found myself, and I truly been doing my best, because that's what the saying I've been, repeating in my head all the time from my dad when I was younger. He always said that. So when I was 6 to 16 to 26, he's always been saying this: be yourself and do your best. So even if I don't want to succeed, I'm gonna be the best at something, and I'm gonna find myself somewhere. And that was enough for me to keep going.
So, sir, as you know that every successful venture starts with a clear vision and a strong foundation. So how was the company founded, and what vision led to its establishment?
Well, I've always thought about the future. I've had a dream about what the future looks like. I've always been a visionary. That's why I was a really terrible student, because I could always visualize. I don't really know how to memorize and read a title and try to think about it and be like, okay, what would that look like? Someone would read a book and live in a world, but I would watch a movie and I can write a book about it. That's how I think about things. So there was a movie called Ready Player One, and it talks about the oasis, which means a world that everyone's gonna live in the virtual world, and this is more of the metaverse. So it was really, I would say it's a gaming slash innovative, more business kind of idea that I had in mind. And I said to myself, it's very unlikely for me to build it, but what if I tried to come somewhere close? And the funny part is, in this movie, it was 2045, which is not really far ahead. It's 20 years from today. And I think we're getting pretty close. Because the type of business we do today, and from Diverge, from my own perspective, it started from a branding company to a website building company to a VR and metaverse experience with Unreal Engine 5, AAA games, GTA level. We're talking about a very fast scale of skills and resources that was needed to be put together. And all I had to do was call the people that I trusted, similar to mentors, call the people that I trusted were friends and family, and I started looking around and I started building what today is a company. But to me, it was, I'm just having fun with some friends, and I feel like I need to do this because I had really big responsibilities towards my family. I've been taking care of my family since I was very young. And I think the survival instinct made me put my art, my creativity, and my passion towards one thing, and that was architecture, design, marketing and visuals and cinematography, tech. I didn't even know what Windows was. I didn't know what a website can be built with what coding, but I was really passionate and enthusiastic about tech, and that made me learn a lot, and that's the tech company. But I was really curious about finance and crypto, really curious. And I think it was too curious to the point where I wanted to go steps ahead to learn about crypto, but be a part of the revolution of the tech of crypto, the blockchain, not the crypto that you see around. It's actually the future of finance. And it becomes a division in the company. After the division, it becomes a complete smaller team, and that team becomes a company. And Diverge Global Holding headquarters today is in Spain. And we are in Dubai, but I haven't been to Spain. And I'll be very honest, I have employees that are remote all over the world. And the best thing about this, it aligns with the vision. Everything can exist at the same time in a world that is not physical. So I get a request from a government entity to build a VR experience. Who would trust a small startup company? Well, it's actually not a startup company. It's not a small company. It's actually a company that has multiple divisions, multidisciplinary, and they are willing to take actions, take risks with the tools and resources they have. And I realized that time that Diverge Global, or Diverge in itself as an entity, that now, alhamdulillah, has been growing in a really fast space. And we're focusing on government and institution level to actually build for the future. And we never cared about the money. So that's, I think, a question that I always get. We never really known how much we are getting paid. We never really bothered, as long as it breaks even and pays for the friends and family that we hired. That became larger, and we have entities and individuals that we have all over the world. So I think it goes back to community, building an ecosystem that I trusted in, and the passion that I have with building with people that I enjoy being with. So I think that's what Diverge is today.
Growth and expansion require well-planned strategies and a long-term perspective. So what are your future plans for the future of the company? What specific goals do you aim to achieve? What do you aspire to?
That's a great question, because I would start with, I have my co-founder, Mitch. I ran into Mitch in Sheikh Zayed Road 3 years ago. And that individual today is a partner with me in every single business and every single division we've ever built. And we have extremely unique skill sets, almost completely opposite, but at the same time works in harmony. And an idea that I can visualize is something that he thought of strategically with his own experience, which is phenomenal. I'm very blessed to have Mitch, because the strategic building of scaling was actually what I thought that is needed. And maybe I could not think of it that way. I can visualize it, but put it in place, finding the legal ways to do it. That what is regulation? What is having the proper setup for a company to scale this quick with a company structure? Understanding that, I think that was very important. And with that being said, I think the future now, we're becoming global anyways today, but we're focusing on government and large corporation and institutions to actually, I would say, disrupt markets like finance. We are focusing heavily on connecting the traditional banking with the digital banking and the crypto space. Regulations all over the world and governments are changing, and we're very blessed to be in Dubai, because we have, we speak on first name basis with some of the biggest names in the region. And we're talking about the whole region, but Dubai in specific being a hub for not only crypto, but for innovation. And I would say I stumbled across it. It's a domino effect. Our AI vision crossed into Dubai Police, crossed into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, crossed into multiple other government entities and large corporations. But it wasn't really how they see us. It was how easy it was for us to integrate with their systems, and also with the government here in Dubai. So I think our focus for the future would be focusing on finance and also focusing on the integration of tech in general and AI in multiple different sectors. And that's what we're moving forward with.
The UAE also is known for its business-friendly environment and supportive regulations. So how has the UAE contributed to the success and the growth of this company?
I mean, I have really two specific dates or situations that we faced. In the beginning, early on, and actually 2 weeks ago. These are the two, I think, junctions where it really meant that we were in the right place, even though we never knew. I was born here, raised all my life, and I wouldn't say I took it for granted. I just didn't know that it was one of the best solutions around the world, and how a lifestyle is much more easier here. Problems that people would face in other, countries or cities around the world, I didn't even know that was a problem until I started, my network started growing, and I know people from all over the world. Some of my best friends and new business partners in some of our new ventures from London fly in, or from Paris or Canada, Vancouver, New York, all these countries, cities and countries. I'm more familiar of them, but I've never been there. And I already know the things that Dubai has given me, and Abu Dhabi has given us, and Fujairah and Ras Al Khaimah, all these even different cities and emirates around the UAE have their own kind of unique aspect of, I would say, efficiency and convenience, but we don't know it because we don't know any less. This is our expectations. And these two junctions were, when I opened the business, how can I open a business? How was I supposed to open a business? What type of paperwork is needed? Sure, I can open a business online in another country in 1 hour, but does it suffice for all the requirements that you would need in 2 months? Bank account, support, account management, advisor. I have an advisor, business advisor, setup advisor. I think in the beginning, it was much easier for me to do it with 2 calls here and there. I know a friend who knows a friend that gave me a business license, helped me do this and that. And I think that was a really important thing for me to grow in the early stage. But now we're heavy we're talking about large contracts globally. And we're talking about even courts and legally binding contracts. And as we're now building our crypto company, we know for a fact that there are only 33 publicly available companies that only can provide this service. And with that being not only publicly available, they tell us exactly what you need to work on, the regulations and paperwork that needs to be set in place, and all the other support that they would give you from not only their existing network from the government, but also the proxies and third parties that they work with, which is, alhamdulillah, we turned out to be these companies. So we become a company that consult with and on behalf of the government or large corporations that work with the government. And that to me was really strange, because people would come to us, or companies that would come to us to consult on how they can get their government paperwork done. And that was mind-blowing to me, because I can represent the country that I was born in, and I feel like it's my country. But also it makes my life easier when I deal with business over the world, because I say I'm in Dubai, everyone wants to fly here, everyone wants to set up a business here, or everyone wants to trust a business that is based here with its history here and contacts. Not only proud, trust me, this is more home, because even specifically Dubai, you have realized, right, as I spoke today, the space of how I grew from 21 to 28. From literally, I was painting, my first business was painting on shoes. I was as a painter, and then I sold painting, real estate, and expanding to multidisciplinary. But today, we're, alhamdulillah, this enterprise or global holding company, Diverge, that works with multiple governments. We're working with the government of Canada right now because of our relationships in Dubai. That I made a couple of calls, and I told you, I'm not trying to pretend that I'm someone who I'm not. I'm just trying my best and being myself. It's the same title, the same quote, a very simple quote that everyone knows about. But I was told that when I was 6, and today I'm 28. So I really don't know where am I going to be in the future, but I'm gonna be doing my best and becoming myself.
So success is marked by significant milestones and impactful contributions. So what are the key achievements you are most proud of?
From a personal level, I truly feel like I found myself. And when I say found myself, I would actually mean my intellectual capabilities, and my emotional strength, and my mental capacity, understanding what makes you a productive human or part of a society. I think that was very early on and a very young age, and I'm proud of that personally. And I realized that because I see my mom proud, and being proud of you could be nothing to do with your actual professional success. It's because you're kind, you're nice, you understand, you listen, right? And you take control and responsibilities. All these aspects and attributes of being, I would say personally proud of yourself or achievement, automatically gets you to do really good business. But people would say that business, you need to do some really shady things and step on someone or try to legally go loopholes. And as of today, thankfully, maybe I'm too optimistic. But we work with some of the biggest individuals on the world, on the planet, and we've always put them first. We've always focused on customer first and user base first, and then how the client actually is going to be better if they do X, Y, and Z. We help them with X, Y, and Z because that's what we think is necessary, regardless of what's our responsibility. But that's exactly what I do with my siblings. That's exactly what I do with my friends, and I think it is very hard to combine them together or have a balance between them. But if I don't do business with my friends, then who am I going to do business with? And I think mentors also help a lot here. I would say public figures as mentors, or even personal mentors that in everyone's life would matter and would make them who they are, just like I feel who I am today. And I think that's the final thing, where the achievement, where me finding myself, but also now, alhamdulillah, with business, especially in the UAE and Dubai, our achievements is we're actually becoming sought after for our AI contributions and tech contributions with our existing experience and history shown, alhamdulillah, everywhere. If it was government or if it was with large corporations, like I mentioned. I don't know how many names I could mention, but I think tech and AI is really powerful, and that's what we're really proud of, because AI is now the trend, but it was not a trend a couple of years ago, and just like metaverse was nothing, but metaverse, what is it? And finance disrupting all these markets. I think the word diverge explains it all, where we go away from the path that is usually commonly used by everyone, and that path usually isn't even there. We build that path, we take that risk on ourselves, we bet on ourselves, and then it seems like the best, shortcut for everyone else to follow. And if someone has to do it, I always say I'll be the one doing it. So I'm really happy with that.
So you have built your success story.
I mean, I'm working on it. I feel like I'm definitely somewhere where I'm proud of myself, and I think also people around me played a huge role. When I say people, I mean not only from my own family, but also, like I said, my business partners. I have multiple business partners in different sections of the global holding company. So if it was finance or marketing or design or tech, but every single one of them plays a huge role in my personal life, but also to the ecosystem that we've built. And we see ourselves growing much, much larger very soon, especially that we're embedding ourselves within the system of governments in the region. And I think when it comes to innovation in finance and innovation with AI and automations of systems, these are things that are sought after and necessary for becoming, the company or the government of the future. And the latest design of our architecture project was a branch of the future that we have designed for government in the region. We'll publicly be sharing it very soon, but we designed the branch of the future. We designed tech AI of the future, avatars of the future. Now we're talking about the tokens and cryptocurrencies of the future. So that it aligns with the vision of innovation, but again, it has to be within the ecosystem that provides to everyone else. Not everyone can have or a monopoly over the market. We're actually more, like I said, ecosystem and community-based focused. So from the smallest business to the largest corporation, we focus on the users and we focus on the ecosystem we built.
So based on your experiences, how can you define success? Because sir, this word is a subjective word and it differs from one person to another.
I don't want to be cliche or stereotypical, but I've watched way too many podcasts. I've listened to way too many, I would say influential public figure, successful celebrities. And I've also met the relatively successful business owners on the street or kiosks in Egypt when I go and visit, or, and I think success in business would be relatively different from success in life, but as in general, an individual that would be I would say, in my opinion, I would recommend that person as a successful person. I would recommend that you do X, Y, and Z to be successful. For myself, it was always be true to yourself. Being genuine has nothing to do with materialistic objects, because it's a very subjective matter to talk about saying that that person has X, Y, and Z, has a family, a happy family and a happy business, and lives in a nice house. That has nothing to do with success, because I know personally good friends of mine, partners, and multiple other individuals that actually are not happy. And it wouldn't be happiness that is success. It would be actually you being true to yourself. It's actually funny, I don't want to say this, but be yourself, do your best is the success in anyone's life, in my opinion, because the more you go by, there's a reason to wake up every morning because you want to be yourself and you want to do your best. So you would hold yourself accountable. You holding yourself accountable, I think, is one of the key aspects of becoming successful, because you would not judge yourself, but it's more like understanding that you could be doing better and you're willing to put in the work to be doing better. And if it was a relationship with your sisters or your wife or your mother or your brother or business partner, or it would be with your employees, and this is a huge thing for me. One of the interviews, I remember clearly, one of our individuals that we hired, they're working with us ever since first day. And I wasn't someone who knows how to interview someone, and I was interviewing them myself. But today it's different. We have multiple different layers and whatnot. But I said, I'm only gonna hire you if you tell me about your hobbies. And they told me about their hobby, and it was, I would like to do more sports, and I like painting. But they're a graphic designer, but they want 3D design. Okay, so you want all of these things, but you're sitting in my interview telling me that you haven't done anything. Why is that? I'm gonna give you 3 months probation. You're gonna work, that's your KPI. But one of your KPIs for you to be hired officially is for you to tell me that you have done transformations in your body. You have showed me at least one painting that you have painted, and I'm going to hire you. And that became something that we actually use till today. Every person that we hire, we actually tell them your hobbies are part of the, I would say, objectives and key milestones for you to be a part of Diverge, for you to focus on yourself and build yourself. Self-development is something we really focus on. I even make groups. I send memes and groups on Instagram for employees and telling them, hey, this AI we have to try. This tool came out. This new design technique is out, we need to try. And that becomes their daily unintentional subconscious thinking of something that they see. I can do that. That's a cool idea. Let me go try it. And suddenly we make a service out of that really cool idea that they saw on TikTok. So that's also something we look at. And I think that's very unconventional, especially when you grow as a corporate. But we really, start to act like a startup always, and be a startup and agile and quick as a startup. And I think that is, what makes us maybe special and unique in the region.
Many people from audience, they are a new generation also, and they see from your story something special, inspired them. So what is your advice to the new generation and to young entrepreneurs aspiring to enter the same field or any other field?
I always wanted someone to come and tell me what I'm telling you, because I did not have that person. And it was, again, like I said before, be yourself and do your best isn't just a funny quote or something that you hear about or write on your wall. But in my opinion, it would be, you need to seek discomfort. And with that being said, it could be discomfort in doing something you don't like because you actually like the result. You like the really cool painting that you want to be proud of, but you have to do the hard work of actually sitting there for hours. It could be anything in your daily life, especially in the younger generation. You're always distracted by what the social media shows you all the time. All these younger, successful individuals that are making money out of thin air. Well, you need to still focus on yourself and know who you are. So I think that will really be my advice is self-discipline, self-accountability means you have to just focus on yourself, be genuine and kind to yourself, and don't really look at the shiny stuff. Focus on what you want to be. And if it's art, great, but then don't think of it and be against your parents and be like, oh, I want to be an artist, I don't want to be a doctor. that has nothing to do with you being an artist. You can still be a doctor, an artist, and an engineer as well if you would need. But you have to be focused and not really distracted by social media. And that's really a big problem in today's world.
The UAE has for sure contributed to your success story. So what is your appreciation message you would like to convey through our episode to the UAE and its rulers?
I can go on and on about this. Maybe people would think that I would be faking it or not being truthful, but I was born here, raised here. I've seen childhood memories here, but I'm actually more appreciating even more now, realizing the type of business that I do today, the networks that I have in Dubai within the government itself, that were very friendly and understanding of who I am and willing to take risks on me, especially when working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs recently. That to me is an experience of a lifetime, because this age of today, at my age, I don't think anyone really believed in me that much, rather than I can mention every single government entity that believed in me and my vision and my proposals. And so I think I would thank the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, also Dubai government for always seeking innovation and building for the future. I think that would be something that I am always going to be holding dearly to my heart.
Thank you so much, sir. It was my pleasure talking with you today. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Dear audience, this is the end of our episode. Watch us next week. Goodbye.